right, so we're back. Real quick and easy. It was a little quick break we had there. We didn't have a long break this time.
No, we did not.
So going forward, everyone, that's what we're trying to do here. We're going to try to get out as many as we can within the weeks and just work towards building up a lot and helping you guys learn more about the product and what our current thoughts and states on the situation. With that being said, I'm Casey.
And I'm Cameron.
And we're back at it again with a couple of Jagoffs Wrestling. So...
we made it to episode 2.
Yeah, I know. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I am shocked that we made it to episode. We have more episodes out than me and Mike do with the sports one.
We do.
That's a shocker because, well, it's tough with him. He's at school.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. All right, so we're going to start here. I'm going to start pretty easy. You came up with this segment last time before I left. And we're going to come out with it right off the bang. It's called, what did you call it? Like I said, it's something about nostalgia.
We could do something along the lines of, I thought we called Nostalgia Network, where each week we can go over either a time period, a specific match, anything from like 2005 and before. Just something that could, be a memory that we enjoyed or liked, or something that the fans can look back on and remember too. And, and then people can also, put in comments of stuff they remember from. We could talk about. So
definitely.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start her off?
Sure.
Sure. Since you came up with it, I'm going to let you start it off.
Sure. So I was trying to think of either a match or segment to pick, and for some reason, what came to me is more of like a time frame than just one specific moment, and that is the year 2000, the start of the year 2000. And the reason that it came to me, I think, is because we are in Royal Rumble season. We're going into WrestleMania season.
Yeah.
And that has a lot of significance to me because I remember going into that year, I was like 12 years old, and The Rock was on fire. The Rock was in his prime.
Heel Rock or face Rock?
He was a face.
Okay.
Triple H, Hill champion. He had the belt forever, him and Stephanie. And actually, no, I take that back. Stephanie wasn't with Triple H at that time. But Triple H is champion. It seems like he's never going to lose it. Royal Rumble 2000. Going into that night, he's facing Mick Foley. They had a crazy street fight at the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble 2000, right?
Royal Rumble 2000.
That he came out as Cactus Jack.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
The Royal Rumble that year, The Rock was so much on fire. You felt like he had to win, and he did. That was the year he eliminated the Big Show.
Yeah.
There was the whole controversy that The Rock's feet actually touched first. So going up to WrestleMania that year, you also had in between what was supposed to be Mick Foley's last match, the Hell in a Cell with Triple H.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my underrated, most favorite matches. I was talking with a buddy a couple weeks ago, and I was like, dude, I forget about it every time, but I will always go back and watch that match because I always forget, because it's the match that basically set Triple H on fire a little bit in my book. Set him on fire, and it sort of just released him to everybody. It said, here you go.
Absolutely.
Let's get it on.
And then you go to WrestleMania that year. It was WrestleMania 16, Anaheim, California. And I remember I had a bunch of friends over. We were really excited. They had this thing called WrestleMania All Day that day. It was a special that you paid for. Like, you paid like $10 extra, and it was a run-through of all the WrestleManias to that point with interviews from past superstars and all this. It was like just this grand, amazing day. The main event at that year's WrestleMania, Triple H, The Rock, Big Show, and Mick Foley. With Linda McMahon in Mick Foley's corner.
There was a McMahon in everybody's corner, right?
Shane and Big Show. The Rock had Vince, and Triple H had
Wasn't
Stephanie
Jericho supposed to be in there?
I don't know if Jericho was supposed to be in that
almost
match or not.
positive. If you look at
he may have been.
I think so. I don't know. We're not going to get into that.
But at that time, like I said in the last podcast, the first WrestleMania I ever watched live was WrestleMania 12. So up to that point, from what I had seen live and even WrestleManias before, a face always won the main event.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't really think of that at that age, but looking back, they did. So everyone thought The Rock was going to win that match. I mean, that's how it should have went.
Yeah.
So when that four-way happened, obviously Big Show got eliminated first. Mm-hmm. Then Foley went out, had his emotional goodbye. Comes down to Rock and Triple H, and then Vince McMahon does the heel turn, because at that time he was a face in Rock's corner, and cracks The Rock with a chair. Him and Triple H double team him, and Triple H wins. And I just remember me and my friends, we were so stunned after that.
As
match.
an angry stunned or like
Angry
or like
stunned. Like,
are you kidding me?
Yeah, both. I mean, we could not believe that Triple H, the heel, had just won the main event of WrestleMania and retained the belt after all that. And there was a little bit of a payoff afterwards because The Rock got to rock bottom Stephanie and he gave her the people's elbow after the match. But yeah, it was a crazy time. And to me, that was like a big change. And that's one of the reasons I went to that time period in that match, because after that point in time, everything I thought was a little bit more unpredictable. Hills were winning main events more often.
Definitely.
And now going forward at WrestleMania, I never knew if a heel was going to win. And then the next year at WrestleMania X7, Stone Cold went heel and he won the main event again. So, but yeah, that was my nostalgia.
I'm going to pick, since I just watched it again, being it's my favorite WrestleMania X7. With the triple threat hardcore for the hardcore title.
Okay.
Big Show, Kane. Wow, Big Show is in both of ours. Big Show, Kane, and Raven.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm going to pick this is that gosh darn window spot.
Oh God. Yeah.
Where I think it's Raven. I don't remember who throws him, but Raven gets put through that window, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of people have seen that match. I've watched it like 7 times because it's just great.
It is funny. I mean, they fight all over the place.
Or the golf cart scene's my favorite, where they get in the golf cart. But if you listen to a backstory, I think What Culture was talking about it, was they were supposed to go the whole way around the arena. Okay. And it was a miscalculation. And if they'll tell you about it, is Raven was this close to cutting the power to the broadcast.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's like just the craziest thing ever to think of.
Yeah. Oh my
Because
goodness,
like, can you picture if that day every signal's lost, WrestleMania X7?
Yeah, and that was a huge WrestleMania.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do?
Could only
What do you do?
imagine.
You're sitting at home and your broadcast gets cut. Besides like super kick a TV or something, but like
yeah, that would have been rough because once again I had a lot of friends over there, and we were excited. So.
That would have been horrible.
Yeah,
that would have been the worst thing ever. That's like for kids nowadays, Roman Reigns losing.
Oh God.
All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's switch into our current state of SmackDown and Raw. In your opinion,
okay,
what's your favorite? What's your better brand today? See, my head tells me I like SmackDown because just the fact that I like AJ Styles and Nakamura.
SmackDown definitely has the better.
Like
talent.
if I'm a WWE executive, they want you to sort of, I think Raw maybe because it's a flagship show.
Yeah, the thing is, Vince still takes Raw more serious than he does SmackDown.
Oh,
you
definitely.
can clearly see that with how storylines are booked. If a superstar that's coming back from the past or somebody's returning, they're going to do it on Raw. They're not going to do it on SmackDown. Raw still, garners more viewers, even though their viewership is way down from previous years. They're barely reaching 2 million a week.
Before we go
crazy.
any further, is if we're talking about viewership and everything, let's just not forget that we watched Big Cass fight Big Show in the main event this year.
We did.
Yeah,
we
we watched Big Cass
in Pittsburgh.
we
went to Raw, and that was the main event. And I mean that's part of it there, part of the problem. But yeah, SmackDown definitely has the better talent, hands down for sure.
Oh yeah, by far.
And
at least I think. I mean, I think other people would disagree with us, but
I don't see how you
I
could.
don't
mean,
think you have AJ Styles,
Shinsuke
Nakamura,
Kevin Owens,
Yeah,
Sami
yeah,
Zayn,
you know
Randy
what?
Orton.
How
can you argue?
The main event on SmackDown I think it was last night. Yeah, last night between AJ Styles and I think it was like a handicap
6-man tag.
The 6-man tag match, yeah.
Or I'm sorry, you're right. It was a handicap 3-on-2.
It was a 3-on-2 match. I love everything they are doing with AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just like it. I like that you're making AJ Styles show why he's the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
But you put him in these situations where he just absolutely has to shine. And now you're bringing out, like you say all the time, you're bringing out a Sami Zayn that is an incredible wrestler, an incredible performer. And I just love the fact that they're finally realizing this a little bit. It's like, okay, we have something with Sami Zayn. Okay, Kevin Owens, you're going to get a great everything. You know that as well as I do. Yeah. You're going to get a fantastic everything with Kevin Owens. And that's what I like about SmackDown is they're just a little bit. I don't know. I like the fact that I didn't see Jinder Mahal's face last night.
Yeah, right. And right now,
not saying that to be a jerk towards Jinder, but it's kind of happy I didn't see his face last night.
Yeah, on SmackDown right now, the title picture and everything, they're using guys that are very talented that fans want to see. Over on Raw, it's all supported and all built around Roman Reigns. And for me, here's what's crazy. Back when I was young, we didn't have like DVR, to where you could, if you wanted to record an episode of Raw, you had to record it on either a VHS or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you said VHS, just so everybody knows.
So the thing was, back then, even if I had DVR, I would never miss an episode of Monday Night Raw when I was growing up during the Attitude Era and into the early 2000s. I would never.
I could say that I didn't miss an episode of Raw in the 2000s era.
Yeah, if I missed an episode of Raw, there was a good reason for it, and I made sure it was taped. Now, today, I watch Raw on DVR probably 90% of the time because I don't want to watch all the commercials, and two, I know I'm probably going to fast forward certain segments.
Yeah,
and I can't see any predicament that I would have done that back in the past because everything was just too good. So for me to fast forward a lot of what's happening on Raw today, it just shows that it's very stale. Raw gets more production towards its storylines, and like I said, if they're going to do a big segment or a big return, they're going to do it on Raw. But hands down, SmackDown has the better talent.
I think so too. That's sort of what I think. I don't care if anybody tries to disagree with me because, like you said, it's kind of hard with everybody.
It's opinionated too.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. So
everyone you're going to base it a lot off of what superstars you like. If a lot of superstars you like are on Raw, maybe you're going to think Raw's better.
So if you guys disagree, feel free to comment.
Yeah,
you can comment and everything and tell us why, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so I like everything that's going on the SmackDown side. I like that you're going to get a 2-on-1 match at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship.
It's interesting, yeah.
I like it a lot. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do. Maybe because AJ Styles is in it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But on the Raw side, we finally are getting to see Woken Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Which which don't get me wrong, it's still great. I love Matt Hardy and I love this whole gimmick.
Yeah.
But it's I would like to see what happened here is you bring Jeff back, his brother Nero. Mm-hmm. But something tells me I think they're going to put him in a singles run. I don't know. See, but it depends. I love Woken Matt Hardy though. I like hopefully this is a feud that can help elevate Bray Wyatt from such a crappy 2017. No offense, Bray, but your 2017, besides winning the WWE Championship, was kind of rough.
Yeah.
So hopefully this feud with Matt can help escalate him a little bit and everything. But I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you say about this.
Hope's a great word, but
it's a
Bray Wyatt died at WrestleMania 30. No, seriously. I mean, Bray Wyatt came in and had the hottest run I have seen since I don't even know when. When he came into the company, honestly, he was one of the only superstars that I felt had that.
WrestleMania 30 was against Cena, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I see where you go with this.
When he came in, it was unbelievable. You could take him and put him in the Attitude Era. You could put him in the early 2000s, Ruthless Aggression Era, and he'd fit right in. I mean, he had an amazing character, the theme music, the Wyatt family behind him. It was the coolest thing. For the first time in a long time, I felt like WWE had finally developed an amazing character.
Yep.
He was on an amazing run. You go into the Royal Rumble that year, going into WrestleMania 30. He had that amazing match with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that was at the Rumble.
We saw in
the Rumble. Oh my gosh, that's one match
awesome.
that we talk about all the time. That was the highlight of that whole pay-per-view was Daniel Bryan, and they put it on first, right?
Yeah,
it was on first, right? Yep,
and the thing was, you thought, okay, they're taking this guy extremely serious. He's probably going to be champion before long. I remember there was a lot of rumors that year that maybe he could be somehow in the title picture. And it ended up being the same exact thing that happens. Anytime a heel catches fire and they start to build him up, they feed him to Cena or Reigns. Yep. And that's what they did to Bray at WrestleMania 30, and he was never the same since. When he lost to Cena at 30, it showed that he was not taken serious, and his career just plummeted. I don't know if he'll ever be able to get back up.
I hope.
I hope.
That's why I stated the fact.
It's not Bray Wyatt's fault.
It's not. He's such a great everything. Like everything's there. His promo work, his entrance, the charisma.
give him any good storylines,
exactly.
and he loses weight.
Exactly. I just don't understand.
How can you take someone serious that comes out, calls himself a god, and is supposed to be feared, and then they lose every single feud? You after a certain point, after that point, you get to a point in time where you say to yourself, I can't take this person serious anymore. I can't take their feud serious because they're just going to lose,
Yeah, 100%.
So that's how I feel with Bray. As far as Matt Hardy, Woken Matt Hardy, once again, I hope it works. But, man, if I was a betting man, I think it's going to fall apart because I don't think they're going to do it right.
I don't think they can understand. I don't think you can hand Matt Hardy a promo sheet and say, here, read this. I think you need to let him go a little bit.
And that's the thing. I don't see him doing it.
And they're not going to let that happen. I'm not saying I am. I'm saying it like that. That you need to give a little bit of these guys a little bit more freedom.
Well, absolutely. That's been a problem for years.
Yeah, to just let him go a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I love the broken Matt Hardy.
That's the thing. Broken Matt Hardy in TNA was just so over the top. It was completely his idea, his imagination, and his creativity that made that work. Those matches that they put on,
what was it? The
Apocalypse, whatever.
The one where he fought Jeff in his backyard was just unbelievable. They were shooting fireworks at each other, which is awesome.
And that is all stuff you could tell they all came to. They collaborated and just made it into just fun.
This crazy fun.
And in WWE, you're not gonna see that. You might see Woken Matt Hardy in a street fight or something, but it's going to be so tamed, just like we talked about last week, how everything is so corny and so tamed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my big fear, that it's not going to work, because even seeing him these last couple weeks doing stuff with Bray Wyatt, and he's just in the ring like making noises and laughing.
# pretty goofy.
I'm like, God, this feels forced. It just feels forced.
It feels like it almost was. I don't want to say too early, but it feels like it was a too early a way to bring him in, because I think what they originally planned was they were gonna have him and Jeff run still for a while, give a little nostalgia run, and then hopefully, like, per se, something would have happened, and that would have made him turn broken. Woken, but I'm gonna say broken. But that my perspective on it was that there was going to be a specific reason that this happened, and that he had to do this. Like, he was going to go, I'm going to say it, and it's because of all that's happened, is I don't think Bray Wyatt is the man for this in a way. I think if you would have asked me that question in 2014, is Bray Wyatt the man for this? I would have looked at you and said, absolutely, this is going to be awesome because you have Matt Hardy and you have Bray Wyatt. But to this day and age, with the Bray Wyatt, you see the Bray Wyatt that just had projectors project bugs over a match in Randy Orton, which I thought, I mean, it's whatever. Yeah. But I'm not knocking him. I like Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I'm always gonna like Bray Wyatt. I'm not knocking him, but I don't think Bray Wyatt is the sort of right guy for this. A little bit. It just, there's something. You know what I mean? I think you could. Exactly. There's something a little off about the whole thing.
I think it's because everything just seems forced. It doesn't seem natural. It doesn't seem like we were saying, that Matt Hardy's going to have the freedom here. I think what you have to do outside of giving Matt Hardy his own freedom is, to me, I feel like you're going to have to get him some backup. You're going to have to maybe have him form some sort of a stable.
That'd be pretty. I think that'd be pretty cool.
More, make the gimmick be taken a little bit more serious, till we know, like, okay, they're getting behind this Woken Matt Hardy gimmick. He's getting a stable behind him. Maybe start having him go for some belts, and like they did in TNA, where he was one of the top talents. You gotta go with it there. If he's just on this little slight mid card run and he's just acting goofy, nothing's gonna come out of it, and it's gonna just plummet.
I don't want to see that happen either.
No,
I really don't.
Not at all.
So I'm gonna transition in here a little bit to the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Because we talked about it last week a little bit. We just talked about mainly like the Women's Royal Rumble, Asuka. So I want to get a little bit more in depth with it, if that's okay with you.
Yep.
So in the Rumble, this is really funny that I'm going to ask you this question, but there's always a couple of surprise entrances that we don't. I think it was Kevin Nash was the year we were there. Was one of them.
JBL.
JBL. So, in your opinion, if you could pick one legend, I know who your legend's going to be, but it's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
So, but if you could pick another legend that would come into the Royal Rumble and make sort of a surprise entrance that would get a little like crowd pop. You know what I mean? Like a little crowd pop that everybody would go sort of nuts for. Me, I'm looking at it as, okay, well, you have Raw 25. So let's surprise everyone, and let's do sort of like a thing where we sort of have not like a Legends battle, but like let's pick one legend that's coming back on Raw 25 that has a bigger name than somebody like a Kevin Nash or like someone in that realm. Like that's going to be there. And that could make possibly a surprise entrance at the Rumble that everybody would love. I mean, it's cool seeing Kevin Nash come back. I'm not saying it's not, but I would love to see somebody of a caliber of like, I don't know. I want to say Stone Cold, but the chances of that happening are slim to none. So you know what? I'm going to go with Stone Cold and say that I hope Stone Cold makes a return at the Royal Rumble just for a little bit. Even if he eliminates 2 guys, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
So sure. if you're in your terms, who would be your pick?
Well, okay. If I had my pick of anybody, of course I would choose Shawn Michaels to come back because that's my favorite of all time. I thought there was slight hope that he might come back at last year's because it was in San Antonio, and when that didn't happen, I'm like, okay, he's never coming back. That would be my pick. If I had to look on a more realistic side at something, if I was booking that I think the fans would really love, I think something that I would do is at some point during the Rumble, I would have The Undertaker make his return because it's already rumored that he's going to possibly return at this year's Mania, whether it's to fight Cena or whatever. But what I would do, I would finally make this happen because I know fans have wanted to see it for a long time. I would have Undertaker come out in the Rumble at some point. Maybe Roman Reigns is in the ring at that time. Have Undertaker just throw him out to get a little bit of his revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you could have at some point during the Rumble, because we know Cena's in it, you could have Cena come in there at some point and have him and Taker go at it, and that's going to signify to fans, okay, this is where they're going. The rumors are true, right?
Yeah,
and you can have Undertaker eliminate Cena. But what I would do is then, whatever entrance it is, countdown clock hits 3, 2, 1, boom, the lights go out. When the lights come back on, I would have Sting in the ring right behind the Undertaker with the baseball bat.
Oh, that's so
turn
cool.
around and just bam, he just cracks Undertaker with the bat, cool. And he throws the Undertaker right out, and then you could have finally what people wanted: Sting and Undertaker.
Yeah,
let it be each of their final match.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Because Sting has been vying for that match for years, and fans have wanted to see that because those are the two. They were the two same type of entities of each of their brands. I'm sort of
going to say a little bit too is just a little bit of backbones in companies. Like everybody talks about all the time, Undertaker has been Vince McMahon's most loyal worker, and I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking anybody who's worked for Vince McMahon, blah blah blah, who was around during that era. But if you think about it, let's think here when WWE was sort of falling. When WCW started to rise a little bit, who stood tall? The Undertaker was still there. You put I remember one of the coolest things I think I've ever saw with the Undertaker was when he wrestled and he had the mask on. When I forget what he broke on his face, but it was just, it added so much more to his character. You know what I mean? Like it was like, whoa. But it's sort of backbones here. But you're exactly right. I agree with that. You're exactly right that you could have the lights go out and boom, there's Sting.
Yeah, and that was
everybody would go berserk.
They would
go berserk.
Exactly. And now you have a huge match booked for Mania. It's not your main event. It's just a great match somewhere on the card. The match itself probably won't be that great, but it's just going to be everything surrounding it.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have to be a great match. The crowd's going to be going insane for the entire thing, and that's
sort of like a Kenny Omega Chris Jericho vibe a little bit, like where you never thought this would happen, but you've wanted to see it for how long?
Yeah,
exactly. No, I exactly agree with that statement. So, who's your early pick to win the Rumble? I'm really anxious.
Well, we talked about this last time. The person that I think should win is Shinsuke, so they can go to him.
If you
AJ.
Not counting Shinsuke, take Shinsuke out of the picture. But who do you think?
Oh well, if
besides
it's
Shinsuke?
If Shinsuke doesn't win, my fear is that it's going to be Roman Reigns. I mean, honestly, that's my fear. That it's going to be Reigns.
I'll never
Cena.
forget what they brought about 30 last year. I was so angry.
Yeah, that was a disaster.
I think I shut my PS4 off. I think I shut my PS4 off for like 5 minutes.
I was so excited going into last year's Royal Rumble because
we talked about this. We were eating dinner one time together, and we both looked at each other and said, "This is so unpredictable.
Yeah, there was over 50,000 people.
That was the great feeling about it was this is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen.
And they had like over 50,000 people. They had over 8 to 12 mystery spots in the Rumble. Anybody. There was all these rumors that Shawn Michaels was coming in because it was San Antonio. There was rumors that The Rock was coming back. I mean, it was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? There was all these rumors of who's going to be number 30, and the undercard looked good. The matches didn't end up being very good. And then, man, that Rumble sucked. I mean, it sucked. All the mystery spots were just guys on the current roster.
Exactly.
They were just low-card talent.
It didn't feel like a traditional
The only surprise was Ty Dillinger, and it wasn't even a surprise because everybody knew he was coming out number 10. and when Roman Reigns came out at number 30, I almost just turned it off. I'm not kidding. Like, we were sitting there watching, and I was like, I'm just going to turn this off. And I had a feeling when it came down to him and Orton that Orton was going to win because I thought, okay, this would just be way too just predictable and bad if Roman wins it again. But it's still, even though Orton won, there was no enjoyment because I didn't want Orton to win anyways. But it sucked.
Now let's take in consideration this year that the Rumble is in Philadelphia, and you know as well as I do from the past that Philadelphia has a harsh wrestling crowd.
Yes,
they're sort of
they're not as harsh as they used to be.
No.
Philadelphia used to be crazy.
No.
Like when that Rumble happened a few years ago where Roman Reigns won in Philly, if that would have happened back in 1999, he would have had to have been escorted by security out of there because there would have been batteries thrown at him.
Yeah,
there would have been full just trash.
So I'm going to take in consideration to the fact of how sort of harsh Philly's crowd is. See, this is a hard question for me, like you said, is if I'm not picking Shinsuke, who do I pick? And I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but I'm going to say it in the wrong way, which I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm really hoping John Cena does not win the Rumble. But if I'm going on a limb and I'm going to pick somebody, I don't want to pick him, but I'm going to pick him, that he's going to be in the Final Four is all I'm saying. And that's my prediction.
With our luck, it'll come down to him and Roman Reigns, and I'll just want to kill myself. I mean, honestly, I can't. It's so hard to take anymore. I can't because, they brought Miz back this Monday on Raw.
I love it.
And
I love him.
They're going to have him feud with Roman Reigns.
That's one of the superstars that I can tell you right now that I didn't like at the beginning, but I can tell you right now that I love.
Yeah.
And I remember coming to you and saying, you know what, I love this dude. Like, I love everything about this dude.
Especially on the mic.
He's so good. So good.
But here's the thing. If Roman Reigns loses the Intercontinental title before Royal Rumble, watch out.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge indicator that he might win.
Yep. I agree.
So
I agree.
And I think, I don't know if was it confirmed Monday? I'm not sure if him and Miz's Intercontinental title match, is that happening at the Raw 25th?
I think yeah.
It is happening.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So if Roman loses that's a week before the Rumble. Watch out.
Exactly.
So
before so transitioning from the Rumble and everything about that. I mean, we talked about it all the time.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to with Raw 25 and everything else coming forward? I want to get some of your thoughts. DX.
They already confirmed that Shawn and Triple H's appearance is going to be DX. They're bringing in the Outlaws as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do. They might just come out and cut a promo or something, or usually when they do that, they usually have them come out and then some jobber, probably
the Ascension.
No, not the Ascension. What's his name?
I'm just saying the Ascension.
Hawkins.
Yeah.
Will probably come out, and they'll all just hit their finishers.
I don't even care that he's on a losing streak because I'll tell you what, when he comes out, I still have the biggest smile on my face. I like him. I don't care. I'm definitely getting his shirt that has the streaks on the back of it. I love him. I don't care. Everybody can hate me for that. I don't care. You could argue about that in the comments below. Tell me how much you don't like him. But I love him. I think it's funny. But I'm looking forward to, like you said, DX. I'm looking forward to see just everything that's culminated over the years come together in one big show.
Yeah,
so
hopefully
I'm hoping this show
right.
isn't a major letdown is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, do something with the people that are coming back. Do something with Stone Cold. Don't just have him walk out and say, welcome to Raw 25 and sip a beer.
Don't just do a backstage segment with him and he walks in on Kurt Angle and is like, oh, hey, Kurt, blah, 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 and everything.
Do something. Make it memorable. I mean, whether you have a segment that features multiple legends in the ring, whether they beat up young talent, whatever it is, do something memorable. I'm really excited that half of the show is being filmed in the Manhattan Center, where Raw originated, and they confirmed that Jerry Lawler and JR are going to
that's awesome.
commentate
That's
there.
awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm really excited for it. Anytime you bring back, I know you have a lot of people that say, "Oh, I hate when they bring back the legends because it takes away from the younger talent." But these are the guys I grew up watching, and they're still my favorites. WWE has a lot of trouble building stars today because of Vince McMahon just catering to certain few. And to see them come back is always that you get that giddy feeling in your stomach.
Exactly.
Like, I can't wait to see these guys. So hopefully I'm excited for it. Hopefully it'll be a good time.
So my biggest excitement with Raw 25 is guys that I didn't see them in their prime, but I saw them sort of going out of their career. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like HBK, for instance. I watched HBK's last match. I watched HBK lose to John Cena at WrestleMania 23.
I was there.
You were present for that, which was horrible. Actually, funny story about this real quick is we were watching WrestleMania 23 at my friend's house. Shout out to JJ, my friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I got there, and I had a John Cena shirt on, which is really funny. And that match comes along, and I remember you were hammering me all week. It was like, you can't root for Cena this match. You can't. Yes, everybody, I was a Cena mark when I was 10 to 12 years old.
Yes, he was.
And I just had to, so I had a John Cena shirt on, but little did they know I had a little trick up my sleeve. So right before that match comes on, I take off my Cena shirt and I have an HBK shirt on.
Oh, that's awesome.
And all my friends, I can tell you from instance right now, did not talk to me that whole match because they were all John Cena marks. Did not talk to me that whole match. And I remember, Grinner, give or take, that match was with Cena.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, it was still an okay main event.
It was still a good match.
Because you had Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels carried it.
Because you had Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
But I think one of the big things for me going into Raw 25 is you're going to see factions. And you're going to see people that we haven't seen get together in a while. Like, for instance, like you said, and I'm a little bit giddy because I want to see DX together again. And I'm not just talking to the D Generation X that was Shawn Michaels and Triple H that they brought back. You have the New Age Outlaws that are going to be there.
Yeah.
I think X-Pac's going to be there.
He'll probably be there.
There's a good chance.
He's just
He's
any
just
gig
there.
he can get, he's going to take it.
But that's my big thing is I like all that stuff from that era. I like watching DX, and I liked watching old stuff that DX did and everything. So what are you looking forward to with some superstars with their builds and everything? Like I said, I love the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles. So going forward to the Rumble and forward, what's mainly some of your like build thoughts? Like what would you do?
Like what should they do with that?
Yeah, what would you do? Like not just specifically saying Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, etc. I'm talking all together. Like what do you think you do to help?
Well, AJ I think has to get away from that, and he has to go into it with Shinsuke, of course. We talked about that last time, so I won't go back over that. As far as the Kevin Owens thing, I mean, we were talking about this before we started, and I think is what a lot of people have been talking about is this whole thing with Daniel Bryan possibly turning heel, and that's the way it's been looking on SmackDown.
I called it.
Yeah,
I'm going to call it right now.
Man, if it happens, that is just so weird, and it's not going to work. I mean, they tried turning Daniel Bryan heel once back with the Wyatt family, and it was a disaster. The thing is, and yeah, it didn't work with the Wyatt family thing, and it won't work again. I don't know what the reasoning would be. To me, I don't know how exactly you would make it work. What I would do, because everybody knows Daniel Bryan's cleared to wrestle. It's just Vince McMahon keeping him from wrestling.
I think he's been cleared by a WWE doctor.
He's been cleared everywhere. It's only WWE's doctor that supposedly hasn't cleared him, and that's simply because Vince McMahon knows if he brings Daniel Bryan back as a full-time wrestler, the fans are going to want him at the top again, and that's not in Vince McMahon's plans. So what I would do is you have it right now looking like Daniel Bryan's going to turn heel. That doesn't make sense. What I would end up doing is I would have Shane McMahon go full circle and have this all be some weird ploy, however you put it together, that he's actually ends up turning heel and aligning himself with Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then what I would have happen is you have this big, huge turn where Shane McMahon joins Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then Shane McMahon actually talks Kevin Owens into returning on Sami Zayn, saying, like, Sami Zayn's holding you down. If you're going to align yourself with me and we're going to take over SmackDown, You don't need Sami Zayn.
I think Kevin Owens could pull that off too. Being the guy that being the performer, the guy that he is, and just what he does, I truly think he could pull that off, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
just to see that happen. I mean, but that's like you said, full circle. That's gonna take a little bit. Too.
It will,
like,
and that's what you build towards Mania.
Exactly.
And you have them turn on Sami Zayn, and you also have them still in this mix with Daniel Bryan, and you have that lead to a WrestleMania tag match.
Yeah.
You do Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. You get Daniel Bryan back for a match at WrestleMania, a huge tag match. He doesn't have to be in there the whole time, so if they're worried about
that crowd would pop tremendously for Daniel Bryan.
You do it, and you make it like no DQ, like tornado tag.
Like you said, too, what the great thing with that being is we all know Daniel Bryan's past with his head injuries and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But like you said, is they can get away with that because then that could sort of be Daniel Bryan's tryout comeback matches.
Yeah.
We're going to put him in a tag match. Do the same thing they did with Kurt Angle. We're going to put him in a couple tag matches. We're going to see what he can do. If he still got it, we still have a star.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have it, then whatever.
And I think if you would do that tag match, once again, it's not your main event. That's another huge match on
exactly.
the card.
It's another. If you look at any of the WrestleManias in the past, they have great mid cards too. A little bit.
Yeah.
Not saying
not
any
all
of
of them, but
not saying any of those guys are mid card performers. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But they have great mid card matches. Like what's it?
WrestleMania 21, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle went midway through the
card.
card.
Yeah, they stole the show.
Oh, of course.
They stole the show.
Michaels and Jericho, 19.
That's the other one. That's the
Midway
other.
through
That's
the
the one I was thinking of, and you beat me to it. That's the other one
Yeah.
I was thinking of. You beat me to it. Like just under match on the mid card, like per se. I don't know if you want to call it a mid card match, but the TLC matches.
Of course, mid card match.
Yeah, and they just ripped the show apart. I know I'm getting a little off track here, but one of the coolest, the funniest things I've ever heard was, I know we're talking WrestleMania, but at SummerSlam, when they first did the TLC match with the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys, one of the coolest facts that I found out about that was Shane McMahon said was them to give he gave the safety speech to the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian before that match.
Yeah.
And he took one of the biggest bumps of that night.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, that Shane McMahon said that and then went out and just upped the scale a little bit more.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Shane. That was awesome.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
Transitioning, we're still sitting in what your thoughts are. So we talk about the SmackDown side all the time. So it's kind of hard to talk about this, give or take. Brock Lesnar's not always on Raw or anything. But if you could find a way, if Lesnar is on Raw, I feel like he'll have more appearances too, going towards Mania to help with his builds and stuff. So what do you do with that situation and some of the titles over there on that brand going into Mania? Brock, please don't listen to this because I don't want you to get mad at me and come find me and make me a tunnel.
Well, like last week when I was saying, what I would do is I would have it so that Brock Lesnar retains the belt at the Rumble, and then Brock Lesnar goes in, has to defend his title at the Chamber. I would have Triple H and Stephanie make the Chamber match. Once again, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar say this is not fair because every match Brock has to do is not one-on-one like they've been doing now. And then I would have Triple H and Stephanie blatantly come out and say, listen, we don't want you to have the title. You cost us too much money with your appearances. Kind of do a little bit of a realism factor. You're very expensive. We kind of wish you would go back to UFC, and we don't have.
Wow, that was harsh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
them say
That's harsh.
and you have them say, listen, bring some realism into it. Say, you're making us lose a lot of money on our live event house shows because we don't have a champion there, and we can't book a champion.
Exactly.
And then fans will register that as, oh, this seems kind of real because that's all truth. And they'll say, so we're making these matches because we want you to lose. And then he retains in the Chamber again. And then afterwards, like I was saying last time, you have Triple H and Stephanie come out and say, okay, we're going to plan B. And Paul Heyman says, well, there's nobody on this roster that can beat Brock Lesnar. Then bingo. Exactly. Then you have Triple H and Stephanie bring out The Rock. And they say, we paid big money to bring Hollywood here. The Rock comes out. Now you got Rock and Brock. That's what I would do.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's not like the Rock and Brock haven't met in the past.
One time.
They've met one time.
Yep.
And
SummerSlam 2002.
SummerSlam 2002. So one of the biggest things that I love to this day, and I'm going to continue to like it till I screw it up, is I love that you build Braun Strowman as just this animal.
Yeah.
Like on Raw Monday when he ripped pulled the thing down, the staging lighting or whatever on Brock
cool.
and Kane. Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that you're continuously building this man.
That should have ended the show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's one of those things that you should have put at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that you continuously build this man as just a beast. Is just some guy, like same way they do with Brock a little bit, but with Braun, they've been doing it for so long. And what's great is it hasn't fallen off a little bit, give or take, and it's still there a little bit. Do I think Braun deserves a little bit more? Yes.
Yeah.
But do I think that Roman Reigns should have bashed him with an ambulance? No, I don't think. I don't think
and that hurt him a bit. You know,
did.
losing to Roman Reigns, that kind of for me took it down.
Yeah,
his only loss right now should be his loss to Brock Lesnar. That should be it. And then you know, but yeah, I do like what they do with Braun. You know, him losing to Roman,
in my opinion, I think that's a thing for me that I enjoy seeing is that they're consistent, at least with one guy. They're consistent. They're consistently trying to get this man, and you see it every time he comes out. He's
over.
He's over. Yeah, they love him, especially when he.
What do you do with him at Mania though?
I don't know. That's what you're a little bit more deep in depth with this, but I don't know. I don't know. Do you put him with? I don't think you can put him with. I don't even think you put him with Kane because then it's just. I mean, you
put him with Undertaker.
Yeah, you could put him with Taker. I think that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. And I don't think too a little bit. I don't also think if you put him with Taker that if he does lose to Taker, I don't think that's going to completely kill his momentum because everybody's going to be like, oh, it's the Undertaker.
When is Jeff Hardy due back?
See, I was going to just get to this. I don't know. But they said he's progressively well, so I'm
if he's back in time, you could do a handicap match with the Hardys versus Braun.
Now my big thing is, and I seen this, I saw this last night. My pick to come out number 30 in the Royal Rumble, for some unapparent reason, and I don't know why I just thought about this last night. Maybe it's because he's injured and I forgot about him a little bit. Is Jeff Hardy? My he's coming. I'm not going to say he's number 30. I'm going to say he's going to be in the Rumble. He's going to be a surprise entrance. Everybody's going to mark.
Yeah, and I think
that's my pick.
I think
so
you could,
when we're sitting here watching the Rumble, you heard me call it.
Yeah, I think if you brought him back and he's still teaming with Matt, you could have them try to go head to head against
like they did with Brock in the past, where they had him when Brock took that chair shot.
Yeah.
From Jeff Hall.
So that'd be cool, I think, to see the Hardys versus Braun. There's a rumor that when Bobby Lashley's TNA contract expires,
I read this last night.
He might come. You could do him. And Brock even would be great.
Yeah. I've never minded Bobby Lashley.
No, Bobby Lashley's
never
cool.
minded him.
I remember a real quick story about him. I went to a house show in Willing, me and a bunch of friends back in 2006, and after the show was over, it was either a house show or a SmackDown. I can't remember. It was a SmackDown. We were leaving. We were driving in the car. And we were stopped at a red light, and we looked to our left, and it was Bobby Lashley in the car next to us. So my buddy had a sunroof in his car, so immediately my buddy just looks out the sunroof, and he's just like, Bobby Lashley! And Bobby, he looks over, and he gives us the thumbs up and the fist, and we're just all pounding on the window.
That's awesome.
So
that's
that
awesome.
Was pretty
that
funny.
is
but
awesome.
Yeah, no, I never minded him. But yeah, whatever you can
There's
do.
a lot of possibilities with Braun, if we can
there's definitely
wrap
a lot
that
of
up really easy. There's a lot of possibilities.
You know, I just thought of too really quick. Whenever we said earlier about if we could pick, one person as a surprise entrant in the Rumble, and you were saying about Stone Cold, I'm really surprised you didn't say CM Punk.
Yeah. See, now I now with him, I would much rather see him go to the Bullet Club and go wrestle in Japan in Ring of Honor than see him come to WWE. Everybody, you can comment on that because that's a great topic to comment on. And that's just in my opinion, just because I'm such a Bullet Club mark and I love Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, Cody and all them. I love them. Don't get me wrong. I would mark if CM Punk came out in the Rumble. See, but that's sort of my friend mentioned that to me too, going into the Rumble a little bit. I don't, unless you're pulling CM Punk out of your pocket, you have him in your back pocket. I don't think he's coming back.
No, I don't think he is either.
But there's I am hoping, I am praying one day that I see him join the Bullet Club just so I can go buy another Bullet Club CM Punk t-shirt. They just came out with the Chicago one with the Chicago flag on it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say CM Punk, and I knew you were going to mention it, but I couldn't. I don't see him back in a WWE ring, and it's really upsetting to me. I mean, it was pretty cool that I was at his last match, I guess, but it's really upsetting to me that I'm not going to see him back in a WWE ring because I was such a big CM Punk mark. Yeah. So shout out to you, CM Punk. Please follow me back on Twitter. So that's a great point, and I'm really upset that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's that little chance. There's a minuscule chance that it could happen.
You never know.
So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up today's show.
Sure.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah.
We're a little bit over time, so you guys feel free to like, share, and subscribe at the bottom, and we'll be back again next week with another podcast for you.